For this video, I think I'm going to talk about, rather than anything more fundamental or just basics about the game, I'm going to go into like a bit of information about deck building and strategies you can build around. And I'm going to be starting by talking about the Sunburst card, since it's a key engine and payoff that you can build towards to get a pretty good game out of. Now, the description of Sunburst is that it deals fixed damage per second to crystallines within 10 meters. Damage is your level times 20 plus 2.5% of your total armor and HP. So basically the way it works is the more levels and /or armor and HP you have, that's more damage. And it deals that damage in an area around you. This means that you don't have to like shoot things with your gun, throw grenades at it, slash with your sword, whatever. It's just a passive damage output that's just continually going. Now, what does this look like in a deck? I feel like Sunburst is really good as it's both your damage and your payoff for building up. It provides a lot of crowd control, whereas a lot of decks don't normally have much of it, or rather a lot of other options you have, other than maybe nades, or building around a character's skill. And certainly if a character doesn't have any AoE in their kit, it provides you AoE in a pinch. And it also doesn't require you to have a line of sight with something, so you can hit stuff around walls. It's scaling with something that you already want, which is like survival and levels. But some of the cons about it, I'd say, are that it can be inconsistent if you're building around it mainly. And although it can have a high 4, well, not necessarily all the time, but like assuming that you get it, it can have a high 4. The ceiling isn't necessarily as high in terms of like damage compared to something like building around a headshot build, which is something I'll go on into detail on another time. I feel like there's 3 different ways you can use Sunburst in a deck. The first way is as your primary damage source, and I'll go over some examples of that. And the second way is to have it as a secondary or alternative damage source. And the third is to have it as a supplementary damage source. The difference between all of these is pretty important. Anyway, I'm going to go over like each of these styles of Sunburst that I've talked about in examples. I might do some in their own video, but first of all, I'm going to talk about this old Sunburst deck of mine, and this is like one of my oldest Sunburst decks. I no longer use it anymore for a couple of reasons, and I'll load up a custom to kind of like explain how you build around the deck and what exactly the advantages of it are, as well as why I no longer run it. Going over cards, this deck's a bit more thick compared to a lot of their decks, and well, that's partly just due to some changes of the mode that I'll have to explain later. In terms of cards included, and cards that are, like, pickable, the main thing is Sunburst. You absolutely want to take Sunburst, since if you don't get Sunburst, you don't have any way of dealing damage final round. And that's kind of an issue with building around Sunburst. Dimensional Slash is in here as backup for if you don't get Sunburst, since you can still potentially get some kills that way, but ideally you're not running into a situation like that. Treasure Raiders is there since it kind of fits the playstyle. With a Sunburst deck, you're not, at least a pure Sunburst deck, you're more often loot crate gremlining. You're running around grabbing crates to try to level up, which is a bit more difficult nowadays with the current meta due to the diminishing returns you get after crate 7. But back in the day, this deck used to be a lot stronger for it. Beacon of Hope is there because lots of XP. Sin to Glory is there for Sunburst scaling and potential Power Vac scaling, although I don't really remember off the top of my head if Power Vac really worked that well with this deck. Relentless Spree gives even more crowd control. Card Valuation is more levels. Resurgence is a card that you often do want to take when you get it, since it provides you some sustain, and sustain is another crucial thing to have in Sunburst decks. You want mobility, you want tankability, which is HP and armor, which also fuels your Sunburst, and you want sustain, so that's like healing from getting hit, or healing from killing. Defense First is a card that you're going to be taking with this deck, if you can. The only thing to note is that it lowers your movement speed. You don't care about any of these, Relentless Assault, Berserker, or Assailant. Razor Defense also helps for damage, since everything that hits you is going to be taking the damage back. Level Skip is going to be helping you gain levels faster. Savior's Resolve gives you a big bonus to your stats if you're the last survivor. And if you've pulled everything that you wanted from the deck, you can go into Power Vacuum so that all the rest of your levels just convert into more HP, armor, and damage. Hardened Paper provides you more tankability and movement, as do all these other cards. There's also all these HP cards and stuff. Ultimate's in there. A1 and A3 are definitely cards that are good to have, since they line up so well with a lot of agents. I'll explain that more in a different video. You don't care about Thunderstrike, and again, mobility and stuff is good. Equilibrium is here just for deck thinning. Active Skill is good on a lot of the agents. Crystal Analyzer is here as another option for leveling up if you have to stay in place. Out of Thin Air, some scaling, etc. As well as a bit of regen. Anyway, I'm going to run this in a custom and kind of explain my card choices as I go. Only reason I'm not running this in a public game is due to certain factors of the deck. Again, I'd say that this version of running a Sunburst deck is horribly out of meta, and I would not recommend this particular list. Now, regarding agent selection, if you're running a pure Sunburst deck like this, you want agents that have a lot of survival factors in their deck already. Either they have some sustain, regeneration, or mobility, or tankiness. Flavia is another option, since she has survival factors with her Q and ultimate. Leona's another good one, because she has armor regen and mobility built in. And that's going to be the agent we go with here. That said, being said, it is mostly an agent-agnostic deck, but it works really well on agents who have AoE in their kit, or agents that have that additional mobility and healing. Starting off, it honestly doesn't matter what we go with here. For Fragrance or Celestia, I would go Ultimate Principle. Oh, it's even more redundant because of the event.
10,
Combo Cyclone on potentially someone who uses their weapon a lot, like Ming or Mara. I'm going to go Lost Cat. It really doesn't matter since I don't expect anyone to survive anyway here. I'm going out of Thin Air since specific card selection is a lot less relevant here. Sunburst, and that ensures that we have it available. And we're going to be looking for opportunities to get crates. We're going to take Full Armor. That's going to provide us late game sustain. We want to get one of those as early as possible. If I was on Fragrance or Fuchsia or someone with an actually good skill, I would go with them, but I'm just going to go Razor Defense. This area is going to get pushed, so I'm going to try to leave and hopefully not die on the way. Hopefully get some crates. Looks like the upper half of the map is mostly empty. We're going to take Adaptive Shield since it scales really well. I guess we can take another Adaptive Shield. We'll take Woodpecker for mobility. We'll take Level Skip to level up faster. We're going to take the bomb. And I'm going to try to get to a good bomb spot. It's possible I won't. I think I might just set it here. I'm in a pinch.
Bomb planted.
Hopefully the bots don't just kill them all with swords, otherwise this is just not going to work.
Supplies have been dropped.
Don't plant there normally, by the way. That was a terrible plant spot. I can take Treasure Raider since there's enough time this match. We're going to go ahead and ascend. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show too much because most of the bots are dead. Because of the swords. We're going to go ahead and take power back. Another Sunburst. Yeah, this is unfortunate. Defense first. At the very least, the information from about card selections will hold up, so I'll leave this in.
You're standing in in my way. Battlefield cleared. Job complete.
So, the super strings have survived. Smash through the facade of deceit.
Anyway, back to Sunburst stuff. Honestly, these are all pretty bad, or useless. Rooted Stance is, like, potentially useful, as is Clairvoyance, but it's mostly just for, like, you know, shooting to get XP. Bloodlust is so weird when it comes to Sunburst. Technically, the Sunburst damage counts for Restoration, but you don't really, a lot of times, want to be reducing how much recovery that you're getting. So I wouldn't recommend it in this case.
2, 1.
We're going to take a movement card, and then we're going to take a health armor card. This is also a terrible event for this as well. Getting the Joker event is bad because all the crystalline are doing a lot more damage, potentially. And it means you have to be a lot tankier than you normally would be. We're going to take level skip, because again, we want to skip those levels if possible. Out of thin air again.
Supplies have been dropped.
Generally with this deck, you are going to take out of thin air in most cases, unless you're being directly presented something super important. We're going to take defense first here, because I need it. Going to take the sustain card. I'm going to be quiet for a short while. I need to focus a bit.
Supplies have been dropped.
Okay, that's good. We've got ourselves our XP scaling. I'm going to try to make it back around to here and get into this room, ideally. Actually, there's no one there.
The final showdown is about
Now,
to
I
begin.
don't really have enough tankiness yet.
You're a spree to
I do
chorus
hear that
this
some are
place.
dying, so that's good. And now it's just me. So I basically just stay on the run
Supplies have been
and
dropped.
continue grabbing stuff to boost my health and armor and mobility. And everything will just die around me. I'm also taking the opportunity to stack up card valuation a bit, so I can get some levels out of it. And that should be good. I can start taking draws again. Too late for bomb, unfortunately. We're going to take defense first. Razor defense. And there's Who's the Boss being a problem.
You've left a huge battlefield clear. Job complete.
Supplies have been dropped.
Right. I think we're nearly good.
You're standing in my way. You can always count on PUS engineering.
I'm outputting more damage than I'm taking. There's second level Sunburst.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I can pretty much just sit here now.
Have survived.
I pray for a safe landing.
Anyway, that's pretty much the idea of classic Sunburst. You just run around, you grab crates, you smash levels, you smash, like, movement cards. You grab Sunburst the moment you see it, you continue ascending your level, and if you have everything that you need in your kit, like a good enough movement, speed, and stuff like that, you've got your tankiness, you've got some Sunburst, you grab a power vac.
8,
Especially if you have, like, a lot of cards saved up in your card draws,
4,
then
2,
every time you hit an Ascend to Glory, it's a big boost to your health, armor, and damage. Now, I'll also go over another version of this deck as well. Again, the main reason I don't run that one anymore is due to it being pretty outdated. Part of why I'm having to cover different decks in this one is that like, the way you play Sunburst really does depend a lot. This is a good example of an alternative deck. I don't use this one more either, since it felt really inconsistent, but I called this deck Super Sunburst, and effectively, it was a much more fragile Sunburst that mostly did the same things, but had a much thinner list. I won't really cover that one. Instead, I'm going to talk about, and this is my absolute defense deck. I'm planning on putting the codes for all these decks in the description as well. And this is the only deck of the variety of classic Sunburst, which is where Sunburst is your only real damage engine that I would recommend even running, since, again, I feel like a lot of them are kind of outdated and are inconsistent for reasons that I'll hopefully have a chance to show later. We're running Genetic Lock, since it helps with survivability. Sunburst is obviously here. Dimension Mag, it keeps you from getting killed on a defense position. Cyndagory is there for scaling. You'll also notice the card count is a lot thinner here. And a lot of what I said for the previous one also applies here. You'll notice that there's less heal cards and stuff, since we want to have a thin list here. Power Vac is actually not here, but it would be a good card to have, I will say. Pain and Inhibition is a card I liked a lot in Sunburst decks, since it feels like mini absolute defense. There is that condition on having the damage reduction. It doesn't have as high of a damage reduction, but it still helps you to not die as quickly. Enhanced Shot Grenade is great for a GTFO option. Inner Strength is good on characters that would be running Sunburst. And that's pretty much it. Shared Bond is here for healing, stuff like that. And I believe this is pretty much very similar to a base deck that the game starts you with. Now, I will probably go over this one in an actual game to show some of the difficulties with running a deck like this, as well as some of the strengths if things go well. This is a very good map to use Sunburst on. Most of them are, honestly. I Dream Sky really needs to fix this game. Mara and Konami are both good agents, but I'm not going to go with either of them. Nora, Ming, Celestia, and Mara also all work. As is Flavia, but I want to see if I can get Fuchsia here. I need to go ahead and select a deck, though. So, where is it? Might not actually... I'm probably just going to stick with Ming, unfortunately, since I don't have the time to keep rolling for Fuchsia.
Today, I'll do so with no regrets.
This isn't ideal, and there is a reason I wanted to go with Fuchsia. But it's still workable. Ming is just the best agent that... Not Ming, but Fuchsia is just... happens to be the best agent for the deck due to... Oh, actually, before I even get into that, let's talk about Borrowed Power. Since this talent is questionable with the deck. It can potentially get you a lot of the powers and stuff that you need up front, but if it doesn't, you're going to be struggling late game, and it does really put a crutch on your leveling rate, which you do start feeling later on. I missed level skip. That was some bad luck. Oh well. I'll just resume recording next round. The card Do or Die very frequently has... Well, not very frequently, but there's always a possibility you get turned into a crystalline, so that's something to keep in mind if you are including that in a deck. Anyway, that was unfortunate. I will say that whenever I do include Do or Die in a deck, the odds of actually becoming a crystalline usually doesn't happen that often. So usually it's worth including for the potential for extra levels. I'm actually going to go Blade Master this round just to have quicker leveling.
6, 5,
And since I'm going Blade Master, I'm going to take Swift Escape.
2, 1.
Dimension Mag is worthless, so we're going to take the ult.
I am the one above all.
And you want to kill as many Crystalline as you can while they're still relatively weak. Gonna take the leveling card, the adaptive shield, take the Guardian of Hope.
Bomb planted.
Supplies have been dropped.
Early Sunburst is good. Gonna take Berserker here since we do want to actually have damage for shield here. Sword.
Rebels, raise your flag. Herald the dawn. Life is fleeting. Fate won't save you. For charge.
Supplies have been dropped.
Life is fleeting. Fate won't save you.
York.
The final showdown
I am the one above all.
I'm actually gonna focus on Sunburst now.
extra-dimensional space. Supplies have been dropped.
Life is fleeting. Fate won't save you. Thunder for charge. It's time.
Ten, nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Super Strings have survived.
Life is fleeting. Fate won't save you.
Meow Nova is actually a good one since it can give you movement speed and armor, which are ideal for this, as well as passive damage. So we're gonna go with it. Fuchsia is really strong for this deck since every kill is a Blood Orb, which is more healing, but we just didn't get that here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Taking Sustained Vitality for the sustain. And full armor for the same reason.
Power armor.
Now, I know there's still one in there. Alright, room is clear. Recommend copying and pasting whenever you have that talent.
Supplies have been dropped.
I don't have anywhere the movement speed I need to actually go grab crates, so I'm gonna sit here for a while. I'm gonna try and go on a supply run. Might regret this later. We'll see.
Survivor, the final showdown is about to begin.
2 whole minutes to scale is crazy. We'll see how it goes.
I am the one
Supplies
above
have been
all.
dropped.
Pretty bad luck there. Ideally, I would have had some movement speed there, but I just didn't really have any.
Successful.
I lost.
Plus, there was also a player crystalline, which makes it a bit more rough too.
Attack from above.
None of these are really that helpful. I'm going to just take idle support. Gonna take sustained vitality. Since again, you want to at least have one of those.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
And I got the
5,
worst possible
4,
event for
3,
this deck, with
2,
everyone starting
1.
with Joker. Alright. We'll still try to make it work. I do have to point out again that Ming is not my first choice for this deck.
Supplies have been dropped.
Let's see, there's not a lot of crystalline, and there are a bunch of crates, but I do have to be mindful of
I am the one above all.
a lot of things.
Bomb planted.
Movement and map awareness is super important for a playstyle like this. So you want to make sure that you're not running into crystalline, and you do have to be able to get away from them. Honestly, part of why I'm having a hard time is that I'm having to use my push to talk,
Supplies have been
and
dropped.
that is making things a little bit more difficult on the movement front. Surprised I didn't kill more of them.
Supplies have been dropped.
And there's that level cap. You'll notice that crate didn't give me a full level, and that is part of the issue that you run into with a playstyle like this. Gonna hope final round starts soon, though there's not really a lot of time to take advantage of it anyway.
Supplies have been dropped.
And an issue is I don't currently have Sunburst, so I have no damage. And this is part of the issue with running a pure Sunburst deck like this, is that that happens occasionally.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
If I had it, I have no doubt I'd be doing a lot of damage at this point.
Have survived.
For I am the incarnation of all.
In this case, I'm gonna go with Razor Defense. Oh, this is actually probably the best event that I could have for this round.
10,
I'm also gonna take
9,
max HP.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Since we want to see as many card
2,
draws as possible with this
1.
deck. There's 7. I don't think that's the risk going for that. That one, on the other hand, I should be able to. It's got enough movement speed, I think.
I am the one above all. Time for my steel to shine.
Supplies have been dropped.
Sunburst is still nowhere to be seen, which is an issue. Currently constantly checking around the map for things.
Supplies have been dropped.
Someone needs to die for final round to start. That's another issue. I really might just chill.
The final showdown
There we go.
is about to begin.
Now, see if we can get Sunburst in the time I have left.
Supplies have been dropped.
No, I'm not getting Sunburst. I guess this is a really good example of what a bad Sunburst game looks like. And this is why I don't really rely on it as a primary damage source nowadays. Literally, unless I get Sunburst, I have no damage payoff for all this armor and HP I've been getting.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The match has
Yep,
ended.
and that is a full game with 0 good Sunburst rounds.
We are
Incredible.
the Scissors, destined to overthrow the world. Understood.
Anyway, this is probably the best map for this. So we're gonna go with it here. Most of these are nothing talents, but Eika Tactical Skill at least gives us some damage output.
6, 5,
And it works even better because we don't have to look at what we're hitting. We're gonna take one warrior for the scaling. And there's a lot of reasons it's a good map for this.
Blood of the prey empowered.
I see a crate. Is it grabbable? Not really. That one is, though. We can just fly down here, go up, and we're safe.
supplies have been dropped.
Grab that. And see some other crates we're going to try to go for. 3 of them right here.
It's the
I'm gonna scan, check my environment. I'm pretty safe. Sindagori is not good right now, and none of these other cards are either. I'll see what I can do here. And I might try to save my Sindagori for later. Not very good. We'll just slide through here. Nothing here is really grabbable.
Time to start tracking. It's the scent of prey.
Yeah, they're all swarmed around here, it looks
Supplies
like.
have been dropped.
I'll go ahead and take it now. I'm going to take defense first, and I might be able to go for some stuff here. Yep, good call.
It's the scent of prey.
Supplies have been dropped.
I'm going to go for some things. Alright, I see the issue. There's a whole room of people that
Time to start tracking.
are getting no attention. They're stealing all the XP and preventing final round.
The scent of prey. This is faster.
Supplies have been dropped. Survivors. The final showdown
There we go.
is about to begin.
The blood of the prey empowers me. Smells blood.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The super strings have survived.
It's the scent of prey.
I'm glad the Eika actually understood that we had to deal with the other super strings that were still alive, since, again, that's something that tends to cause a lot of issues. You have to get really lucky with your Sunburst scaling to be able to scale enough outside of Final Round. That doesn't happen a lot of time. For obvious reasons, you don't want to take Ultimate Trial. That's just one of the worst possible options. Bloodlust is also questionable, so we're taking Clairvoyance. Not because it benefits the deck, but because it doesn't harm it.
This is faster.
We're taking Razor Defense for some
10,
damage output,
9, 8,
in case we don't get
7,
Sunburst,
6, 5,
which honestly is a bit of a
4,
discussion for
3,
another deck.
2,
The
1.
HP would have probably been the better card to take. Anyway, we're going to look for opportunities to grab crates. We're going to pay attention to that number 5 in the top right, since if we see a drop, it means there's a crate to get. Okay, it's not there. See one over there. Hopefully I don't run into a crystalline going for this one. And I'm safe. Might have taken it from the Eika. Looks like she was heading the same way. And we might have ran some bad luck here.
Supplies have been dropped.
We're going to take our sustain. HP is better on Fuchsia, since that's what she scales with. I'm going to peek through here, see if we can grab anything else. I'm seeing this room is populated again. I'm going to go ahead and deal with them early.
Danger.
Supplies have been dropped.
I'm going to take defense first here.
Survivors, the final showdown is about to begin.
We're in a bad spot because we don't have Sunburst yet. We're going to try to just grab crates until we hopefully get it. Don't think I have card valuation either, so there's no point in stacking. The issue is we have a minute to get Sunburst.
Supplies have been dropped.
Ideally, we get it sooner than a minute.
It's the scent of prey.
Card val is good. Alright, we finally got it in time.
The blood of the prey empowers. There, smell of blood. Thrill of the hunt.
Supplies have been dropped.
No.
And this is what a good Sunburst round looks like.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The super strings have
No
survived.
one escapes the hunt. This is faster.
10,
As you can, I'll actually just talk
8,
about Sunburst decks
7,
generally here.
6, 5,
Anyway, as you can sort of tell,
4, 3,
some of the biggest
2,
issues of the deck
1.
like a pure Sunburst deck like this is that if you don't pull Sunburst, you're kind of just running around. You also have to be very mindful of like how much armor and HP you have as well. Since if you overestimate yourself, you can wind up getting killed in most of the cases. And, of course, the whole reliance on crates also means that if you have a lot of people grabbing crates, you can also struggle to scale. If there's not a lot of crystalline dying because, I don't know, people are using the cheese box, you're going to have a hard time scaling. And, again, keep in mind, Sunburst is the only output you have in a deck that's like this. And I need to bring them over to the room. I might just have to make this a habit for this map.
Supplies have survivors. The final show is about to begin.
I'm gonna grab as many as I can. I have card valuation up, so I can afford to hold a few. Alright, that should be good. So, I'll just start counting from like 26 and paying attention to my level. Alright, not enough tanking yet.
All prey shall be devoured. The blood of the prey.
Supplies have been dropped.
Alright, we should be mostly good.
This is faster. Good.
Not enough, actually, but we'll just keep smashing cards until we hopefully have enough.
The blood of the prey is power. Nothing but prey. No one escapes the hunt.
Supplies have been dropped.
You are all prey. You are all prey.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Prey is
4,
power.
3, 2, 1. The Sunburst have survived.
You know, you start to notice that one of the biggest issues with running a pure Sunburst deck is just
6, 5,
how much you need Sunburst to actually be able to
1.
do anything meaningful consistently, and that's not always something you can pull off. If you don't see Sunburst by the level XP sharing margin that happens around level 7-ish or level 15, I think it's like after 7 supply crates, and definitely it does seem to slow down a lot after level 15 regardless. Then you're going to be struggling a lot of times.
Supplies have been dropped.
Thankfully, it looks like I don't have to put any additional work to clear out that room this time.
Time to start tracking. It's the scent of prey.
Okay, good. Got an early Sunburst.
This is faster.
Yeah, this Chio's probably dead.
Survivor, the final showdown is about to begin.
It's the scent of prey.
Supplies have been dropped.
None will escape the blood of the prey power. Was the mission successful? Good.
There's a lot of reasons I don't tend to run Sunburst decks. Apart from that, it does also kind of get old after a while. But like, if you don't have a lot of good agents, it's like an option you can take in a lot of cases. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to what I consider to be using Sunburst as like kind of a supplementary damage source. I'm going to edit in a clip of a game where I was playing a sort of Yugiri deck. I don't have the list anymore, but this seems to be the closest to what I had at the time, just based on what I had in the video at the time. But I'm going to say this deck could work without Sunburst.
The disobedient shall be punished. Blazing sands envelop this world. Supplies have been dropped.
Straight up, it could work without Sunburst. It was made before the XP fall-off, so very likely you wouldn't be able to run this many freaking cards in Epic that have star upgrades. And there's definitely other ways to build Yugiri. But Yugiri can work just fine with a headshot deck or something like that. She doesn't need Sunburst to actually do very, very well. But having Sunburst does give her more consistency and survivability, a bit more crowd control, AoE, and damage. But again, you would be able to get better numbers, potentially, like damage-wise, by leaning into something else. Now, in a case like this, you just sort of play it like Sunburst really isn't even there. Like, you're not really trying to scale your defense and HP, you're not trying to, like, grab defense first. You would be scaling your level. This deck doesn't really have any level scaling, so I can't really use that in as an example, but, like, yeah. Another deck that I would say is pretty similar is my Eika deck, which I'll probably also just edit in some gameplay of from some existing footage that I have. Or maybe I'll just do another run and use the recording if it's good. This deck also doesn't build around Sunburst, really, as like a HP armor card. And it's definitely something that you just play differently, too. Like, you're not as tanky that way, you're not as survivability, you'll play a lot more closer to, I don't know, any other deck, like maybe a Sentry deck, or just playing it a lot more safe, taking it a lot less risky with things, and you're not able to just, like, stand around in the endgame. Eika's is another good example because between her skill, her ultimate, and her weapon, she really doesn't need the Sunburst, but it does so much to help.
Taking off! Woo!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
First string! I am the burn wind that approaches!
Supplies have been dropped. Supplies have been dropped.
Here we go!
The shadow of death prowls
Bomb planted. Survivor. The final showdown is about to begin. Supplies have been dropped.
I may not be as powerful as you are, but this is my fire and first grade. I will have the last laugh. This time I need to try and erase the flame. Holy fuck! Here we go! When the trumpet first reignite. About time.
Supplies have been dropped.
Let's wrap it up. I have jam
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
fully
4,
on.
3, 2, 1.
I band practice.
The match has ended.
I am the invincible high school student. Remember me?
Alright. Now, if you want to go for Sunburst as a game plan and you want consistency... Hey there, you joined. Hello, Dusty. Right now I'm recording some stuff for a video I might do later. You're welcome to still stay around, though. You're not interrupting or anything. Anyway, so the other kind of... I see. The other kind of style that you can go with a Sunburst deck is kind of having Sunburst as a secondary damage source or an alternative damage source. And I feel like that's the more consistent, kind of evolved form of what used to be using it as a primary damage source. I spent a lot of time trying to adjust decks to find something that would kind of fit that. And I'll kind of go over some examples now.